where the radius is 1.8 meter, internal radius is 1.8 meter. We need to find out what will be the center line length of the semicircle wall by using same equation pi r. The radius will be of 1.8 meter. To find out the central line length, 1.8 is internal length. Add wall thickness extra, that is 0.15 to the center of the wall. That will become 0.95, 1.95 total center line radius, and pi r will be giving the center line length of the semicircle wall. This is a half circle, 3 meter, and room 3 is 2.4, 3.6 by 2.4, and semicircle wall is continued for room number 3. That is center line radius will be 1.95, as internal radius is given as 1.8. By using pi r, you can calculate the length of center line for semicircle wall. Remaining you can calculate. Remaining all rectangular portions are there. All the 8.1 out to out wall I can consider and find out the center line length for that. I can calculate the center line length for this wall and this wall. That is for room 1 and 2. Internal dimensions are 3.6 for both, and center to center you can consider as the wall thickness is 0.3, therefore it will be of 3.9 for one room. So that the center line length will be, I can write center line length calculation as 3.9 into 2 I can write, because 2 walls are there. That can be written as the 8.1 meter long wall will be same for backside as well as in between wall. That is this wall, red mark. That is of same will be there. Therefore, I can multiply it by 2. Multiply by 2. Else. Now we'll be considering this wall, that is semicircle wall, and the length of semicircle, as I said, it will be of pi r. The perimeter of circle will be 2 pi r, but here we are having only half, therefore it will be of pi r. The r value here, internal dimension is 1.8, but center if you are considering, that will be one wall thick, half of the wall thickness you have to add for it. That will be 1.95. The length will be 6.128, or directly you can take 6.13 pi r. That is for horizontal wall, that is for semicircle wall. And next, for these 3 walls I can consider at a time. The internal dimension is of 3 meter, and 3 meter center to center if you are considering, that will be 3.3. There are 3 walls of 3.3 meter. That can be given as 3 into 3.3 plus. Any other walls are remaining? The walls of the side walls of room number 3, that is this one and this one. These 2 walls are remaining. the internal dimension is 2.4, and one side is semicircle wall is there. Therefore, we are not going to consider extra length in the side of the semicircle wall. Only you have to add the intermediate half of the wall thickness at this point. Here it is, from this point only you are considering the semicircle. Therefore, only the internal dimension you have to consider over here. That will be 2.4 plus one side wall thickness, that is 2.55. Of same two walls are there, that is where D is written, where the window is given. Therefore, it will be 2 into 2.5. Next is of this veranda is given outside all three rooms. A single line is given, which indicates up to plinth your foundation is existing, and after the plinth level the filling is done and flooring is given for the veranda outside, where the slab is not there. Only external veranda is there, but it is constructed up to the plinth level. The footing will be same for that also. Here you can see the wall continuation is there, but here wall will be not there, only the up to plinth level construction will be there. Therefore, you need to consider this wall as well as this footing up to the plinth also. There will be no wall, but up to the plinth level you have to do the execution. So you need to consider center line for that also. In the superstructure, you need to deduct these two walls. Okay. For this also, you need to consider the same. That is same as your previous length. That is 3.6. Center to center, it will be 3.9 for horizontal wall, and for vertical wall, it will be 2.4 plus one side wall thickness. Okay, up to the end only you are considering. That will be written as 3.9 as horizontal plus 2.55 is vertical wall. There is no other walls apart from these all. Therefore, total quantity will be 43.18. Total central line length is 43.18. Earthwork in excavation. Number will be 1. Length you need to find out. Total central line length is 43.18 minus how many number of T junctions are there? Find out from the figure. I'll write the T junctions in the figure. Here plus sign is there, red mark. Plus sign indicates 2 T junctions. Therefore, you can write number as 1 and 2. There are 2 T junctions. And next you can consider here 1 T junction. 3 walls are meeting at one point. And this will be 4th one. This can be considered as 5th one. Okay. And 6th one, where this wall is joining, that can be considered as 6th. Any other T junctions apart from this? And sixth, you have total of 6 T junctions, so that you can find out the length for excavation. The basic width, the base width is of footing is 0.9 for excavation width, and excavation depth is of 0.4 for second footing, first footing is of 0.4, and concrete bed is of 0.3. It is of 1.1 meter below ground level, and above ground level the plinth is 0.4 meter. Height of excavation is 1.1, that is 0.4 plus 0.4 plus 0.3. You can see in the figure cross section. There are of 6 T junctions into width of excavation is 0.9 divided by 2. It will be the central line length, length for excavation.
$40.48.
40.48. 40.48. Width is 0.9 and height is 1.1, as we got in the cross section. So that quantity will be how much you are getting quantity? 40.08.
Yes,
Everyone
sir.
is giving same answer.
Yes, sir.
Next, second component is of concrete bed. In foundation, number will be 1. Length remains same as excavation, because wherever excavation you have done, there you have to place the concrete bed. Get the hard starter. 40.48. Width is 0.9, and height you have to check in the cross section. That is 0.3, as it is given in the cross section. That is 0.3. Therefore, quantity will be 10.93. Third component would be of brickwork in footing. Number will be 1. Length you have to find out 43.18 minus 6 T junctions are there into what is the width of first footing? That is given as 0.6 meter. You can see in the cross section, bottom is 0.9 and first footing is 0.6, second footing is 0.5, third footing is 0.4, and wall is of 0.3. Width of each footing, that is of 0.6. Therefore, 0.6 divided by 2 you can calculate. Find out the length. $41.38. What about others?
Same, sir.
Width is 0.6 and height is 0.4. You can see in the cross section that you have to multiply. Therefore, quantity will be 9.93. Till we are continuation. This is the first footing. Next, we'll calculate for second footing. Number will be 1 because central line method you are using. 43.18 is central line length minus T is number of T junctions are 6 into width of second footing is 0.5. Therefore, length will be 41.68. Width is 0.5 and height is 0.4. Third footing. You can see in the cross section, third footing is separate and plinth is separate. Both are divided by the ground level line. Length will be, the number will be 1. Then can be calculated as 43.18 minus 6 into 0.4 divided by 2. Therefore, central line, the first, so third footing length will be 41.98. Width is 0.4 and height is 0.4. Therefore, quantity will be 6.72. Next is of next component is of plinth. Number will be 1. Length will be 43.18 minus 6 is T junctions into point. Already we have calculated the plinth. Third footing is nothing but the plinth. Only 2 footings are there, and third one is plinth. That's also calculated already. Now calculate total quantity of brickwork in foundation and plinth. That is 6.72 plus 8.34 plus 9.93. Total quantities of 16.65 is brickwork in footing. Next is fourth component is DPC. Number will be 1. Then calculation will be 43.18 minus 6 number of T junctions. Wall thickness is 0.3 divided by 2.
The brickwork.
Okay, 24.98. Next for DPC central line length calculation. That can be given as 43.18 minus 6 into 0.3 divided by 2. The value can be 42.28. Width is 0.3 and height is not considered for DPC. Therefore, quantity will be 12.68. Need to do the deductions. Deductions for walls. Wherever openings are there, there you have to do the deductions. You can see the openings in the plan. There are 3 doors of 1.2 by 2.1, and outside veranda is there. For that also there will be no DPC. For that wall also you need to deduct the DPC. So doors, 3 number, doors of D variety, number is 3, 1.2 by 0.3. Quantity will be 1.8. Next, for outside rooms, length of wall you have to deduct. That will be of this wall and this wall. That is 2.4 is internal dimension. Center to center, it will be 2.55 you have considered. And horizontal also, we have considered 3.6 is internal and center to center 3.9. Only the internal dimension you can deduct over here. The center to center length you have to deduct over here. That is 3.9 on one side, and this will be of 2.55. That deduction you have to do. Total will be how much? 3.9 plus 2.4 plus 0.15 on one side. That will be one number, and length will be of by 6.45 and width is 0.3 quantity. Therefore, net quantity of DPC can be written as total DPC minus deductions. Net quantity will be 9.67. Brickwork in superstructure. Number will be of 1. Length you have to calculate by deducting 43.18 minus for outside rooms. For veranda there is no walls, therefore you need to deduct that center to center line length also. Therefore it will be 3.9 minus 2.55. That walls you have to deduct in this one. Remaining walls you have to consider. Minus, if you are excluding these two walls, then number of T is being the deductions. Okay. Only 4 T junctions will be there. Therefore, the multiplication factor will be 4 over here. Find out the length. .1, that is 6.13. 13, width is 0.3, and quantity will be height of building is how much? 3 meter, which is given in the cross section. So usually it will be given 3 meter only. 32.52. Next will be of deductions. Deductions in the superstructure brickwork. Deductions will be doors of D variety. Next, window W of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows are there of W variety. And doors are of 3. And window of variety W1, one window is fitted in the semicircle wall. Along the length of the wall, as 3 meter is arc length for the W1 window. Okay, directly length is given. Length you can consider. You no need to calculate separately for the length of W1 in the semicircle wall. This is directly given. arc length is 3 meter, and dimensions are given that you have to multiply. Doors of variety 1.2 by 0.3 by 2.1, and windows of variety W length is 1.2 by 1.35, 1.2, 0.3, 1.35, and W1 variety window is 1 number, length is 3 meter, width is 0.3 and height is 1.35. This is deductions because of openings. Next, lintel you can calculate for these openings. For the side, add extension of 10 centimeter for all the openings. For lintel, it will be 1.4, 1.4 and 3.2. Width is 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. Thickness of lintel is given. It's not mentioned in the figure. Assume it as 15 centimeter as thickness of slab. In previous case, we considered 0.12. Here, consider 0.15. Find out the lintel quantity. Therefore, net quantity of brickwork can be calculated as total brickwork minus deductions is 25.96. What do you people? How much you are getting? Once you're done with this one, next quantities of number is how much? Sixth number. Axis is slab. First, we'll consider for rectangular portion, that is room 1 and 2 combiningly we can consider. For this portion, the blue line one. Okay, rectangular portion, out to out dimensions are 8.1 and out to out dimension of vertical side is 3.6, because internal is 3 meter, both the side 1 wall thickness you have to add, that will be 3.6. Therefore, room 1 and 2, number will be 1, length will be 8.1 out to out dimension, breadth is 3.6 I can write, and height is 0.15 I can write. For room number 3, a rectangular section will be considered, that will be of dimensions are given as 3.6 is horizontal, plus both the side 1 wall thickness you have to add, that will be 3.9, 4.2. So therefore length will be 4.2 and breadth will be, internal dimension is given as 2.4. That only you have to consider, not the center line length. Why? Because already the blue line wall is already done. This wall is already done. Therefore, only the internal dimension you have to consider, that will be of 2.4. 5 by 4
into D square.
into D square. That is area of circle. Now we have to consider half of area, that is semicircle. You can consider 5 by 8 into D square or find out the area of the semicircle. Same
Yes, sir.
equations of your basic. Our course you can write, or else room also you can write. That section you can write. Number will be 1. What will be the area? How much you will get area? Directly you need to write the area, not length and breadth. Because for this section we will be not having the length and breadth for calculation of volume. Area into height you have to multiply. That's it. You will get the quantity. Here radius you have to consider external radius, not internal. Internal is 1.8, external is 1.8 plus 0.3. That will be 2.1. The slab will be up to the end, exterior surface. 93. Volume can be given as 1.04. Therefore, total quantity of RCC slab is 6.93. Okay. Next is internal plaster and external plaster.